The Scream Queen of all Scream Queens.
Wait.
I love putting Rachel on the spot.
Yeah.
Sorry, eyes go blank, but I know she has it. She has it.
I just can't think of her name right now. Oh, on Halloween.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boogers.
Starts with a J.
Yeah, I know it starts with a J. Yeah, Ty, I've got that letter already. Oh, gosh, this is making everyone crazy. Jamie. Oh, no.
No, you had it. You literally formed the words in your mouth. Say Jamie again.
Jamie Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, that's like it's wrong. No,
I know.
It's not Jamie Curtis.
I know. You were tripping yourself up, but I was just like, just say Curtis because you got it.
I was like, Curtis.
Don't worry about
Sorry,
the lead part
everybody.
if you don't got it.
Did I tell you guys it's almost midnight? Wasn't like,
Ew, you're so gross.
in my throat. How dare you?
Rach just let the nastiest burp out. Like, literally, it was, oh, you got another one brewing.
No, I don't.
Let it out.
I don't.
Let it out on the pod.
I got nothing.
Hey, if you could fart right now.
On command?
Yeah, but it was you knew it was going to be a loud one. You're like, oh, they'll be able to hear it for sure. Would you do it?
Would I fart on command and have it loud so everyone could hear it?
On this pod?
No. Why would I do that?
Would you? Yeah, you know I would. Remember that time we were potting and you farted in here and it smelled terrible and I was trapped in here with you?
Okay, that's enough.
Listeners from season 4 already know.
Like you've never gassed us out of this closet.
Never. I would never do that to you or anyone I love. Welcome back.
Wait, we're not starting with that.
Oh, yeah.
No,
we are.
start over. That's a terrible start.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
It's the best of starts.
Oh, boy.
Rach, what week is it? It's 5. Good job.
6-5.
Kick it to your partner.
Way to go. Thanks, babe. Throw me a bone.
Yep, you got it.
Swing and a miss.
Yep. So thank you so much for tuning in with us, guys. We are really retroing it up this season.
You think so?
I mean, I guess we hit a couple. There's been a couple in the 2000s.
Everything I've had has been in the 2000s.
Everything I've had is in the 80s.
I think we're 50-50
Oh, no.
right now.
Uh-oh.
What?
Well, it's just, you can really tell, like, who we are as human beings. It's like, Rach is like, let's try to keep it around our high school time. I'm like, no, let's put it in the time period where we weren't even alive yet, but we should have been. Because that's when our souls were born. We're Gen Xers.
I think that just makes sense because that's when we both have movies that the other person is missing. Like, you're missing a lot of films that were popular around our high school time, and I'm missing ones when I was in the womb. Like,
But how come I've seen all these movies?
I don't know. How come you've seen all these movies?
I can kind of explain it.
Okay.
So this movie falls into the same catalog when we were doing Back to the 80s.
Oh,
right after
okay.
undergrad.
So Back to the 80s is a musical.
Back to the 80s is a musical. It's a jukebox musical. Yep. And all these famous 80s hits are in it. Mm-hmm. And the storyline is plucked out of like 20 different 80s movies, all mashed together. So while we were doing that, because I was such a great artist.
So serious.
I looked at a list of the top 20 80s movies that you should watch. And that summer, with my roommate, Cody Jameson Strand, who's now on Broadway in Book of Mormon, who's also a very studious actor, we watched all 20 of these movies.
All 20?
Well, he didn't watch all 20. He watched probably 5 of them, but there were days where I'd knock out 3 movies in one day. Well, the 80s comedies like that, like this isn't a comedy, but like 80s John Hughesy movies, you can watch down 3 of those in one day.
Can you?
Yeah.
And it doesn't
They're
blend.
Nothing.
You can tell the differences between.
No, they blend.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I watched
No, they
3
blend.
John Hughes back to back to back, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference between Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles. I mean, to me, that's Even now, I struggle a little bit.
Pretty in Pink, not as good as 16 Candles. I can just tell you right now.
Okay. Well, that clears up nothing for me.
Well, that Molly Ringwald, you got it. But so this is part of my research.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I've seen all these movies.
This was a top 20 80s film?
Yeah, I think on some lists.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you remember where it was at in the range?
No.
Number 5,
No. I could have
20?
done that research, but then what would the listeners have to do?
Yeah, we don't want to do too much of the homework for you
I'm not
guys.
going to handhold them through their lives.
No, that's fair. Well, and you want people to make up their own assessments because that's its own genre.
That's
you have
its
to decide,
own genre.
Where are you?
If you want to know honestly, it's probably not on the top 20 80s movies of all time. If I was going to look at lists, I doubt this one shows up.
I don't think so.
Rach, tell us about the movie we watched this week.
Oh, St. Elmo's Fire. Well, first off, I had zero idea what this was about.
Yes.
And I still have zero idea what this is about. No. Honestly, I think the best way to sum it up is you have a group of friends, 3 guys, 3 gals.
No, 7.
7?
I think there's 4 gals.
Nope, there's 3.
They said there's 7 of them. Is there 4 dudes? There's 4 dudes.
Oh, 4 dudes. Okay,
yep,
sorry.
Emilio.
That's right. We have
Rob Lowe,
we have an odd duck out. Others.
Andrew, and then the rebel off of Breakfast Club.
Yeah. Judd.
Yep.
Judd,
I've got all their names.
Yeah,
Don't worry, guys. I'm coming with it.
I'm going to butcher those. And it follows them right after they've graduated college.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're in that maybe even just that first year after college.
Did you know what college they were supposed to be from?
Georgetown?
Yep, Georgetown. Yep.
I only got that because when they were doing laundry, someone had a Georgetown sweater.
Okay.
Now, what I'll say, that doesn't necessarily mean you went to Georgetown.
Sure.
Sometimes we wear sweaters from
Rach,
colleges we didn't go to. But
you have a college shirt from someplace you never went to, don't you? Do you have a Harvard one?
No, but it'd be cool.
I know a lot of people who I see with Harvard and Princeton stuff, and you're like, you're a big poser.
Well, yeah, but it's very obvious that you didn't go to Harvard.
Yeah,
so
I suppose.
Maybe.
I see that more as you are a major poser because if it's a sports team, I have an Illinois thing.
Okay.
It's I love Illinois basketball. It's not because I went to school there. I love the school. I'd love to go to school there, but I didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was wearing Princeton, I don't love the Princeton lacrosse team, or the croquet team.
But what if you did?
Okay.
Then could you?
No, then you're not a poser.
Then it's okay.
You're really
if it's sports related.
You're
it's
really
okay.
into their 8-man canoeing team or something like that. I'm like, okay, I can get on board with this.
So yeah, it just follows this group of friends the year or 2 years after they graduate, and people are figuring out where they're at in life. Jobs are being had. Being fired from, and people are falling in love and out of love with each other. It's kind of complicated in that sense.
It's true love, my friend.
Love. You know what love is? Love is an illusion created by lawyer types like yourself to perpetuate another illusion called marriage, to create the reality of divorce and the illusionary need for divorce lawyers. Think about that.
You're just pissed off and bitter because you have not had sex in how long? What is it? A year, maybe 2 years? Refresh my memory, please, Kevin. Haven't you ever heard of the sexual revolution?
Who won, huh? Nobody. Used to be sex was the only free thing. No longer. Alimony, palimony, it's all financial. Love's an illusion.
It's the only illusion that counts, my friend.
Says who?
Anyone who's ever been in love.
Love sucks.
So does your attitude.
It's a messy friendship group.
Yeah, it really is.
They even say it at the end. They're like, I don't remember who fell in love with who first. So it's like, yeah, I could tell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be friends with everybody in here, this group. I kept thinking to myself, how did these guys find each other?
I think they just went to Georgetown together and they became buddies.
But they're also, not all of them, but they're so different, especially the gals. The gals are very different. There's a lot of extremes, and I'm just curious at
But that's in a friends group.
I know it is, but they're just such a random bunch of friends.
Yeah.
I think. Who all are there are some that have big drug problems and some that have big I live with my parents problems. And that's not untrue, I guess, for real life, but it's definitely a whole genre and a whole spectrum of friends.
But haven't you ever had Have you ever had friends in college that then when you get out of college, you're like, if we met now, we'd never be friends. But because we went through some shit together, because we've been buddies since high school or college, it's like, I'm hanging on to you, but normally I would never hang on to you.
Yeah, that's true. And I think maybe a lot of these came about because people were roommates. And so that's such a random assortment. So that makes sense at why maybe some of these odd couples came together and joined the friend group. So yeah, you're right. I mean, and maybe that's also why they're struggling with their friendships after college, because you're back in the real world and it's like, well, what am I doing here? Who am I? Who are you?
Who am I? So would you ever be in a friends group like this, 7 people, who all kiss each other on the lips so much?
Maybe it was a very 80s thing to do.
Maybe.
Like when people are saying hi and bye, like everyone, it's very European. Everyone is always like giving the cheek kisses. And sometimes
not
like
even
the close
cheek
to
kisses.
lips kisses.
No, these are full-on kisses in the mouth.
Yeah.
They kiss each other in the mouth a lot. And then sometimes, like Rob Lowe, I think like open mouth kisses and like kind of makes out with almost every girl in the friend group.
Yeah. Yeah, he sure does.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 2 for sure.
Yep.
And then 1 who he shouldn't be making out with, but probably like kisses on the mouth, don't you think?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, Rob, what are you doing? Yeah, for sure.
Would I ever be friends with people like that? I think it just depends on like what you're comfortable with, and if that was always the norm, then I would feel like the weirdo, but boy, that would take a really long time to get used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got used to cheek kisses. So when I lived in Spain.
Oh my gosh, you fit in right with this like Reaganite Gen X crew, all wealthy, white
I do.
Spain girl.
Oh no. Reaganite. You know, that's like kind of customary is hi and byes are kisses on the cheek. And I loved it. I thought it was like really sweet. We have our buddy here, Yarrow. He does that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
that's right.
I find that really endearing. But that's also because that's like a part of like the culture. It's weird. It feels weird to me when it's out of context, I think. But maybe we should bring it back. Should we just start kissing people on the cheeks when we say hi to them?
I'm going to start it at work on Monday. Can you imagine?
Just see how that goes at work.
My first one's going to be like a 50-year-old man. I'm like, oh, Bob, how was your weekend? It's like, oh, what are you doing?
Oh, you're not even going to go for the cheeks. You're going right for like right on the lips.
I'm going right for the lips. I find let's not dance around it. No. I'm going in.
I love it.
I'm going in for the kill.
Bold choice.
And then when they say, what are you doing? I'll be like, this is what I do to everyone. Haven't you seen St. Elmo's Fire?
No, I'm just saying hi,
and then
buddy.
I'll sing the song.
You're singing a song, but it's like an instrumental. That's not even like... It's not even St. Elmo's Fire. Like, it's not the song
Oh,
from this.
yeah. I sing the instrumental.
Yeah, that nobody knows what that is.
No, if they've seen the movie, they know what it is because it plays the entire movie. They do know. They do know.
You have to sing St. Elmo's Fire.
Okay, go ahead. You sing St. Elmo's Fire. No, you know that part. St. Elmo's Fire!
No, you did a really good job. I'll leave it there. No need.
Rach.
Yes.
This is a perfect segue. Gosh, you are
Is
so
it?
good. You're so good.
Wow.
What is St. Elmo's Fire?
Oh, okay. So there was a scene where Rob Lowe, sexy Rob Lowe with his mullet.
Oh my gosh. So, whose name is Billy. Did it remind you of anything else?
Not until right this second.
What's it remind you of?
Stranger Things, Billy.
Absolutely. You could just totally tell his whole design was George Michael and Billy off of this movie. Rob Lowe. They're like,
George Michael.
Yeah. Don't you think? With the cross earring or whatever and the one in the jean jackets all the time.
No, he's a little less gay, maybe.
Well, before everybody knew George Michael was gay.
I think we always knew George Michael was gay.
I think in our hearts we always do.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to hear the Duffer Brothers confirm that.
I never had that.
I see it.
I never had that confirmed, but I know in my heart of hearts that's exactly what they saw. They're like, yes, George Michael, Rob Lowe, and St. Elmo's Fire merged.
Same person.
Same person. So what is St. Elmo's Fire?
Right. So he is, this is like the last 5 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
Where before St. Elmo's was a bar.
Yep.
So that
St. Elmo's Bar.
We had that in our heads.
Just a real bar. You can go there.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, that's
it's a
kinda
real
cool.
bar that the Georgetownians all love to go to.
Oh.
But it's not called St. Elmo's Bar. It's
No,
called
it's something
something
else.
different. Yeah, I got it in my notes.
Nice. Cool. Very cool. And he is trying to make Demi Moore feel better. And I'll be honest, I don't know what this has to do with making her feel better, but he describes what St. Elmo's fire is, and it's something kind of like a lightning strike in the air, or like a fire ball in the air, and maybe...
You've got it. I'm laughing, but you have it. Keep exploring. You've got it.
Maybe back in the day, people who were navigating on the seas like got lost because they followed these bits of light. I don't know what I'm saying.
You are pretty much on.
Is
All
that
right.
what it is?
So it's not a flame.
And not a
It's
flame.
like little electric lightning bolts.
Okay.
And usually they were on like high masts of ships.
Okay.
And like high points, and they would like go around either whether it was wood or like even when it's steel. And these little lightning bolts would like dance on the wooden beams that are high up, and sailors would see it and they'd see it as signs. They'd be like, "Oh, we need to do this." They'd interpret it however. But so it was something that's really high up on the sails. It's usually blue. Sometimes it can be green, but it's usually blue, the St. Elmo's fire.
Blue lightning.
Blue lightning.
Ooh.
It cannot hurt you.
Really?
Yep. It like the electricity, if it touches you or whatever, it doesn't hurt you, doesn't zap you. It's just like electrons in the air.
Does it make your hair go cool?
Maybe.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I do. It make it frizz up. Like
Yep.
you look like Hermione off of Harry Potter #1.
Sure.
So St. Elmo, though, he was the patron saint of sailors. And his fire is a good omen.
Okay.
Now listen to all these ways they tried to kill St. Elmo. Do you want to take a guess on how they tried to kill him?
Oh, that's
because he's
where,
a saint.
That's where we're going with
Yeah.
this.
How do they try to kill St. Elmo?
Okay. How do they try to kill somebody who creates lightning?
Yeah.
They try to set him ablaze with a red fire instead of the blue fire.
That was one of the ways they tried to kill him. They tried to set him on fire.
Great. Ding, ding, ding.
Okay. Here, listen to all these ways they try to kill him.
Okay.
First, they put him in a barrel full of spikes, and then they roll him down a hill.
Oh.
He does not die. He lives.
Yeah.
Because he's St. Elmo.
I guess.
It's too badass.
Poor guy.
Then they set him on fire, like you mentioned. He survives. It's number 2. He's like, what's his name in Russia, who survives all those gunshots and poisonings and everything?
Rasputin.
Yeah, Rasputin.
Oh
Survives
my gosh.
everything.
Whoa.
And then they starve him. He
Okay.
survives. Then they split open his insides,
Oh, God.
and they tie him to a big rotating belt, his abdomen and his intestines. And this big rotating
Okay,
belt
don't-
slowly pulls out of his
Don't need to
intestines.
get so descriptive. That's
and
really gross.
then he finally dies. And not only does he become the saint of sailors,
Uh-huh.
he becomes the saint of abdomen pain. That's a true story.
The saint of cramps.
Yep. This was written by a guy named Carl Kurlander, who worked at St. Elmo's Hotel as a bellhop. He fell in love with a waitress there, and she did not love him back.
Oh,
What story is this like, Rach?
unrequited love. This is our story.
How dare you?
No, just kidding. There is a character in this who, honestly, it was the most fascinating story, and I loved it, and I wanted more of that story.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
I don't know the actor's name, and I don't know the character's
Oh,
name.
you're thinking of a different story.
What story are you talking about?
Oh, no, you can go ahead and talk about your story.
I'm talking about a character in St. Elmo's
Yeah.
Fire. I was gonna say bar. I was like, that's not the movie.
St. Elmo's Bar.
Yeah, not as good.
How fun would that be? It was like, that would be my
All about
commercial
a
for
bar?
St. Elmo's Bar. Come on over and party with your friends. Welcome to St. Elmo's Bar.
Yeah, I think they should. They should definitely think about that.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. You're thinking of here, let me pull out his name just so I can be sure. You're thinking of
You don't need to
Andrew
fill.
McCarthy,
Okay.
the tall skinny guy.
Sure.
Is that the story you're thinking of?
Yes.
Okay, who smokes a lot?
Yes.
He's a writer.
Yeah. I'll be honest. If you
I'm gonna go through all these people.
will, you go through
I'll
all
help
their
you.
names because.
Yeah. Do you want to pause on this conversation and I'll go through all the names and everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
Are we talking about their real names or their character names? Because I'll be honest.
We're gonna talk about their real names.
Well, good.
Yeah.
But if you, as a movie though, I think what this failed to do, or maybe I failed to do.
Sure.
I don't know their names.
Yeah.
I know the one
Uh-huh.
that I can't even come up with at the second.
Billy?
Billy. Nope, didn't remember Billy.
Oh,
I
okay.
remembered Alec, Billy.
Oh, I don't remember Alec. Who's Alec?
Exactly.
So, and that's also the problem is when they talk about each other, they're like, "Oh, are you going to go back and hang out with Alec tonight or whatever?" And you're like, "Which one's Alec?"
Which one's that? You guys all hang out with each other. It's so confusing.
Yeah, so
it's so weird.
you kind of just have to hang on for the ride and just disregard all the names.
I think so.
I'm not going to even talk about their character names. I'm only going to talk about the actors.
Okay.
So then we can keep them straight.
Perfect.
But no, this was actually based off of the story with Emilio.
Oh,
where he
of
loves a
course.
girl and he's obsessed with her, and then she like doesn't return it. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
So there are 2 stories of unrequited love, but
That's
one
true,
of them,
yeah.
actually both of them kind of leave you thinking like, oh, maybe this will end up working out for you.
Sure. Yep.
Totally forgot about Emilio's story.
That's the one I thought you were like, I wanted more of it. And I was like, interesting.
No, I did
I
not.
actually didn't need any more.
I didn't need any
I
more of that one
probably
either.
could have taken a little less.
I agree. 1,000 times I agree.
That's why I was so surprised by your response.
But you were very gracious.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of comes off very stalkerish, and you're just like, what is your problem?
Quick, what's the meaning of life?
Dale Beaver.
Okay, if you've ever seen the movie Love Actually, and you know the part where the little boy is drumming for the popular girl, and when she starts pointing at everybody in the audience and the look that he gives where he's all like pissy, that's the look Emilio gives 90% of this movie whenever he's mad. I was like, oh gosh, we've got the little boy who's drumming who only does that look for like 10 seconds.
So funny.
Yeah, so funny.
That's a really great comp.
Yep. So the director of this movie, his name was Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher.
You know Joel Schumacher.
You say that.
I always do. Okay, here's some things that he's done that you haven't seen. Lost Boys, which I need to put on our list.
Okay.
Vampire movie. You'll like it.
It is
Sexy vampires, but they're bad boys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I could be into it.
It's got Kiefer in it.
Okay.
Kiefer Sutherland.
I remember this because that is when Julia Roberts
Left him. Yes,
Check
exactly.
out. Which one is that?
And
Runaway Bride.
And she leaves him for, I think, his co-star in that movie.
Yeah.
I think they're co-stars and best friends.
Probably.
Yeah. But anyways, then Joel Schumacher does, I think Kiefer's in this movie too. It's been so long since I've seen it, but it was kind of a cool movie. Flatliners. I told you about this movie. It's where they like die to like investigate the afterlife
yes,
and then they get
me
resurrected.
About this movie.
And then there's the movie that I know you know. Ice to See You.
Which Batman is that?
Which Batman
like Mr.
is that?
Freeze, but is it Forever?
Nope. Forever's great. Val Kilmer is in Forever.
Oh, okay. What's the other one then?
Batman and
Robin.
Yep.
Forever.
So Joel Schumacher, the director of this movie, is directly responsible for bat nipples.
Oh, wow.
He added the nipples to the costume. Well, I don't know if he personally did it, but he oversaw it, so he's pretty much to blame.
He gave it the thumbs up.
Yeah, he said, thumbs up on the nips.
Love it.
I love the nipples. They're provocative. They're rich. Let's go with it.
I like it.
The studios hated this movie when they were shopping it around. One studio exec said, "These are the 7 most loathsome characters I've ever read." Rach, would you care to respond?
Without trying to give away too much of my ending for this or my review, yeah, I think there was a time I was like, gosh, no one's really likable. Honestly, there were some characters
some
were better than
likable.
others.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't. On the whole, it's like, yeah, I mean, but again, sometimes I like stories like that. Sometimes I like having all anti-heroes.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Well, let's do a little exercise after I introduce everybody, and we'll go through, and you tell me what characters you like, what characters you would be friends with, and what characters you hate.
Okay.
Remind me after I introduce all these people.
Okay.
So starting off, John Hughes recommended Judd Nelson. He's the guy who plays the senator's secretary or whatever.
Yeah, kind of an up-and-coming in the political world.
Yep. He was a Democrat.
Now changing to be a Republican so that way he can make some money.
But also felt very like true to the 80s, right?
Oh,
These
for sure.
80s kids get out of college and they're like, I'm going to be a Democrat and change the world. And then they see how much money and Reagan's like ruling the roost and they're like, I'm going to be a Republican now. So you had this whole group that converted from Democrats to Republicans in this time period. And he represents that movement. Judd Nelson, John Hughes is like, you got to have Judd Nelson. You've got to have Emilio Estevez. And you have to have Ally Sheedy. Ally Sheedy is...
So like half of the cast of
3
Breakfast
of the 7.
Club
Yeah.
you have to have.
Yep. He's like, you need them for your movie.
Oh,
They did
you
this
don't need
movie-
everybody else, though?
Well, he didn't work with the other people.
Oh.
So these are the
I
people
see.
he recommended.
I see.
They were working out of this... Joel Schumacher and John Hughes were working out of the same building.
Oh, okay.
Yep. He was filming Weird Science while Schumacher was... Well, they were casting at the same time. He was casting Weird Science and Schumacher was casting this.
Yeah.
And so he was like, hey, use these 3. Trust me, you want them. And they did this movie right after Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club releases in February of 85. This movie comes out in, I think, June?
Oh, weird.
So like 4 months apart.
Oh, that's odd. Just because they
Yeah,
just
why
played,
is it odd? Explain.
Well, they just played high schoolers, and now we're
Sure.
jumping to the end of college. So I would have guessed that at least like a year and a half in real life would have taken place before this movie would have been made. Granted, I know that high schoolers are often played by people in their young 20s, especially back then.
Yep.
But even just as like your general audience, if you had something that big of a movie coming out, studios, I would imagine, would want to like sparse you out just a little bit, because otherwise I feel like there's too much like oversaturation.
Well, you say that, but didn't Julia Roberts have 2 movies that came out like within a month of each other?
Yeah, but she's not playing a high schooler in one and a 20-something in one.
No,
like, she's
but I think
playing
she
her
did Runaway
age.
Bride and My Best Friend's Wedding like a month apart or something like that.
No, that's very false.
Well, she did 2 movies back to back that weird.
One was the 80s and one was
What?
the 90s and one was the 2000s.
Oh, okay. Well, there was
decade.
during Runaway Bride. I remember
Yes.
you mentioned there's
Runaway
another
Bride,
huge hit.
probably Notting Hill.
Oh, maybe
That would be
yeah.
a little closer.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that
So
the
you're
age
more caught up on the age.
The age is the weird part.
Okay.
Playing high school and then playing post college within months of each other is a little like oh okay.
But this is more accurate to their ages, though.
Yes, no, I don't disagree. I'm just surprised that they went that quickly with them.
I wonder if they didn't know Breakfast Club was going to be as big of a deal as it was.
Yeah, that's very possible.
Because, I mean, they would have been filming this before Breakfast Club came out.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It looks like it's fall time
Yeah.
when they filmed this. So that might have been something to do it, too. The studio did not want Judd Nelson, the Republican.
Oh, really?
They did not want him. He got in there, though. The very different character than his rebel character in Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that transformation?
I thought he was great. Can I be honest, though? At first,
Yep.
he looks so much like a young Al Pacino.
Oh, I was trying to think of who he reminded me of. That's a good comp.
He has like the slicked back hair. It's like Godfather 2 or 1, really.
Yep.
And I'm just like, that's not Al Pacino, is it? So I actually had to Google it. Because I wanted to say something about him, but I was
Yep.
like, well, am I talking about Pacino or who am I talking about? And I was like, oh, it's that guy. Yes, of course. I just didn't recognize him with his hair not in his face.
Yep.
What a transformation.
Big transformation.
And also Allison Sheedy.
Ally Sheedy, yeah.
What? Another big transformation.
Yep.
She
Guess
also
who is
got
she in Breakfast Club?
She's the gal, the goth gal.
Yep, who never talks.
Yeah. It's kind of odd. She's great.
Judd Nelson says the label, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but the label Brat Pack killed his career. And that happens during filming of this movie. I kind of alluded to that last episode as we previewed it. Brat Pack is like a new thing with this movie. And
Yeah.
we'll get into the story of that.
Yeah.
But he says that his career was pretty much over after this because
Oh,
of that. He
yeah.
never was able to pick up steam again.
Shoot.
Emilio Estevez has a history of not getting the part that he wants. He auditioned for the Rebel and Breakfast Club, but he got the jock.
Yep.
And then
Great for him.
he wanted to be Rob Lowe's part. But instead he got the guy who's obsessed with the gal.
Yeah, honestly, both situations, I just think he's better fit for what he got cast
Yeah.
as. And I know that's hard to hear, Emilio.
What'd you think? Because in Mighty Ducks, he wanted to play the goalie. Did you feel like that was accurate?
No,
or-
I thought that should go to a kid.
Yeah.
I thought just
Okay.
because he's a little shorter doesn't mean he shouldn't play coach.
Babe, he never gets what he wants. Ever.
Do you ever forget that Emilio Estevez is Martin Sheen's son?
I didn't know.
Did you know
that?
Yeah. Oh, this is fun for me.
Yep.
Turn the tables. Yeah, Martin Sheen changed his name so that he would be maybe more castable in the 80s and 90s.
Martin Sheen, who's Charlie Sheen's
Charlie
dad?
Sheen is Emilio Estevez's younger brother.
So
little
wait,
kid bro.
Emilio changed his name?
No, Emilio kept his name. All their surname
They're supposed
is
to be Estevez?
Yeah, Martin Sheen changed his surname to Sheen
Why?
because he wanted to seem more white.
Oh,
Probably.
okay. And so Charlie Sheen should be Charlie Estevez.
Followed along in that as well.
You know, I have so much respect for Emilio for being like,
Isn't
no,
that cool?
I'm gonna keep the name.
Yeah.
I'm not, and also guys like me who don't know he's a Sheen or he's like related to the Sheens.
Yeah.
I guess they're the related to the Estevezes. So I think that's so cool that he's like, nope, forget about the family connection.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
He made his own way.
I'll make it on my own way with the actual family name. Badass.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have respect for him as well.
Yep.
For that. I think that's really cool.
Now I could see why he wouldn't necessarily want to play his character in this movie.
I get why you don't want to play that character, but
He does a good job at it though.
He would have been like better at the Young Republican. That would have been a fine
Yeah.
one. He just doesn't the loose cannon edgy thing like that. Rob Lowe didn't even have to act. Like, can we be honest? Like Rob Lowe probably played himself at this time period.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny you say that. So Rob Lowe shows up to auditions for this role with a 6-pack of beer. He never breaks character in like the audition room and everything. Like he does a complete method thing. And then he beats out a famous actor who we just talked about in the camp episode. A famous actor who somebody was a camp counselor for.
Oh no.
Just filmed this a week ago.
It was like 2 weeks now.
No, the listeners think it was 2 weeks ago. It was really a week ago.
Half a month ago.
He was a counselor to this famous Marvel star.
Uh-oh.
It's so funny.
It's literally not there.
I love
It's
challenging
not
Rach
there.
and like putting her on the spot. Rach, Sondheim musicals, go.
Oh God.
Wait, if you put Rach on the spot, she just freezes up.
I can't.
Robert Downey
Oh
Jr.
yeah, he was the counselor?
No, the guy who made camp was the counselor to Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
Now, Rob Lowe beat Robert Downey Jr. for this role.
Is Robert Downey Jr. also in the Brat Pack?
Not officially, no.
Okay.
Nope. I'll tell you who else is in the Brat Pack besides this crew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Is it considered method if that's who you are? Like, would
No.
we say Diane Keaton is method when she's quirky? Would we say that Jack Nicholson is method when he is a womanizer on TV? Like, would we say that?
No. I think there's a difference in like you are who you are and you bring a piece of that to what you're doing compared to I am going to take on aspects of a character that is not me and I'm going to go to the nth degree. And then I also think they always talk about method, and I don't know if this is necessarily fair, but whenever you get into occupational stuff and it's like, I'm going to do this occupation like the character, even though I'm not doing it, they always talk about that being method. I don't know if that's necessarily fair, but yeah, that's...
Do you think Rob Lowe went method and like really got really good at the saxophone?
I can tell you right now, he did not get good at the saxophone. He makes up all his saxophone playing.
Yeah. Oh, does he?
Yep. 100%. All that is fake, but he does a good job of faking it.
He does. He's very sweaty when he plays the sax.
Very sweaty, and he really puckers his lips hard to like blow through that reed. So I buy it. But
so much saxophone.
Super
surprised by how much saxophone was in this movie.
So the 80s and 90s was a time where I feel like the saxophone was super sexy.
It was at maybe
Bill Clinton?
Yeah, like
saxophone?
its second coming. Like obviously the first coming would be like jazz era, right?
Yep.
And then it has a resurgence in the 80s and 90s, both with like this random, jazzy, I don't know what we call this music.
Yeah.
But then like with ska later on in the 90s.
Yeah,
like,
that's even more brassy though.
Yeah.
But the saxes are sometimes there, but it's mostly
true.
brassy.
Kenny G was probably 90s. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm wondering when it's going to come back again.
I
You
don't
think it's
know.
come back around?
When is it like other instruments time? Like when is the flutist gonna really be able to just rock out?
Do you know who does that?
The Yas flute. Ron Burgundy does that.
Well, no,
Oh,
who really does
I
that?
can't believe you guys asked me. I'm so unprepared as I pull it from my sleeve.
No, Lizzo. Lizzo brings her flute out a lot.
No way.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she brings her flute out to concerts all the time.
That's so funny.
So the flute is having its moment.
Okay.
So it's the time of the flute
Cool.
now. We're
Very
in
cool.
it. We're in it.
So speaking of Bill Clinton,
Yeah.
Bill Clinton, when he got the presidency in '92, he wanted Rob Lowe to play the St. Elmo's Fire on saxophone at his inauguration.
I had to say, Mr. President, he doesn't know how to
No,
play.
get this. Rob Lowe didn't know how to play. He didn't learn how to play. And he just went and he faked it with a band.
Oh.
And so he was there pretending to play saxophone while other people were playing. And he said nobody ever mentioned it. They were never like, hey, you weren't really playing.
Really?
He said they all bought it.
Well, how could Clinton buy it? He plays a saxophone.
Well, he did.
Was there someone else playing the saxophone?
Yeah, there were other people too. It's
Okay.
like he's just like, play something, sax man.
That's so great. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fun.
Uh-huh.
That's a fun little tidbit. Where did you find that?
I don't know, but I did.
That must be good.
So, Rob Lowe pretty much begged Joel Schumacher to be in this movie.
Oh,
he had
yeah?
only done The Outsiders before this. Outsiders is 83.
Okay.
So Emilio and Outsiders as well. Emilio, by the way, after this movie, he's going to go do the movie Maximum Overdrive. Do you know that movie?
Nope.
I think it's a Stephen King. It's where all these machines come to life and he gets
Okay.
like hunted by cars.
Oh.
It did terrible. I'm pretty
Sounds
good.
awful.
Yeah, I've only seen clips from it and it looked really bad. But Rob Lowe, he begged him to be in it. He says this film is ahead of its time. Response?
Okay.
After this movie, he does a bunch of randos until Wayne's World in 1992. Do you remember Wayne's World?
I don't remember him in Wayne's World.
He's the asshole agent to Wayne's girlfriend.
Sure. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Little Cam.
A character that he plays very similarly in Tommy Boy.
Yeah. I was
Yep.
going to say, isn't that Tommy Boy? No. Different.
Favorite Rob Lowe?
I do love him in Tommy Boy.
Yeah.
I do. I also, in Parks and Rec, he's kind of fun too. He grows
But
on you.
you got annoyed by him.
Well, initially, but he does grow on you as
Yeah.
a character.
I
At first, I found him like kind of grating,
Yep.
but after time, I was like, oh, that's a part of it because it just works more into his contrast between other characters,
Yep.
and it's more endearing later on.
Yep.
And less annoying.
I always liked him, but I remember you being like, no, you're going to have to get through Rob Lowe. He's a little annoying. He can be very grating. I was like, oh, I never really had that. I always thought he was really charming. That's my favorite Rob Lowe, is Parks and
So
Rec with
happy.
Rob Lowe. So you mentioned Ally Sheedy. So even though she got the rec from John Hughes, she had a fight to get cast. She beat out, do you have any guesses?
Molly Ringwald.
No. Molly Ringwald was not up for this. She beat out somebody from a previous Summers Off film
Oh, that's
called
helpful.
Top Gun. I'll narrow it down for you.
Is it legs?
Nope, not legs.
Another gal in Top Gun?
Yep.
There's more than one gal
Yeah, you love this gal.
in Top Gun?
Take me out, baby. I love you forever.
Meg Ryan.
Yeah. She beat out Meg Ryan. She beat
Wow.
out the Scream Queen of all Scream Queens.
Wait.
I love putting Rachel on the spot.
Yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
eyes go
No,
blank, but I know
have
she has it. She has it.
I just can't think of her name right now. Oh, on Halloween.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Boogers.
Starts with a J.
Yeah, I know it starts with a J. Yeah, Ty, I've got that letter already. Oh, gosh, this is making everyone crazy. Jamie. Oh, no.
No, you had it. You literally formed the words in your mouth.
I-
Say Jamie again.
Jamie Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Oh, that's like it's wrong. No,
I know.
It's not Jamie Curtis.
I know. You were tripping yourself up, but I was just like, just say Curtis because you got it.
I was like, Curtis.
Don't worry about
Sorry,
the lead part if
everybody.
you don't got it.
Did I tell you guys it's almost midnight? Let's just throw that out there.
It's
almost,
10:52.
It feels like it's midnight. How long have we been in here?
Oh my gosh. Then she also beat out Elizabeth Shue. Do you know what Elizabeth Shue's from?
Yeah, but don't quiz me on it.
No, it's okay. She's from
Babysitter's
Yeah,
Club?
Adventures,
no,
in
Adventures in
Babysitting.
Babysitting. Yep.
And then she beat out Melanie Griffith.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Melanie Griffith was also up for this role.
I can't think of what Melanie Griffith looks like at this time.
I mean, I looked her up, and she looks pretty similar to what she ends up looking like in the 90s.
Nice. Very nice.
I don't know. It was very surprising. And she hadn't done much. I looked up her career. But she was a rising name after Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
And after this, she does Short Circuit, which I mentioned earlier this season.
Yeah, that robot one.
Yeah. What's the quote I always say?
Number
Number five's alive.
Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, what did he was like, pretty much got it. And if you remember, another piece of throwback to Top Gun, another piece of trivia, she was going to be Legs. Remember from Top Gun?
Who's going to be Legs?
Ally Sheedy.
Oh, yeah.
She was the gal I was talking
crazy.
about.
That's
that you were
right.
like, who? And then I was like, you'll see her later this season.
Yeah.
Ally Sheedy was going to be was up for the main gal in Top Gun.
No, I can't imagine.
Isn't that bonkers?
Her and Cruise like going at it. I can't see it. I can't.
She's shorter.
Yeah,
Might have helped Cruise.
Yeah, and her teeth are also a little janky too.
Yeah.
Shout out or not a shout out? What's the opposite? I don't mean to throw shade.
Yeah,
but
throwing shade.
she's got some janky teeth too, in the best way. Obviously, it didn't cut her career.
Well, somebody who does not have janky teeth, somebody who has beautiful teeth, is
Emilio.
No, Emilio has good teeth, but Demi Moore.
Ah.
Demi Moore. Listen to this story.
Okay.
She's auditioning for John Hughes in the movie Weird Science. You know a little bit about Weird Science?
Does she want to be like the robot, the sexy robot?
No, I think there's two girlfriends.
Oh, okay.
Yep, there's two guys, and then there are two love. Which one of them is Debbie from Killer Clowns. Debbie's one of the girlfriends. So she's auditioning for, I think, probably one of those roles.
Yeah.
For Weird Science. The audition doesn't go very well. She's kind of like storming out of there a little bit. Joel Schumacher is in his office. He sees her walk by, and he goes, "Who's that?" And then she has an intern in the office, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to go run and chase down that girl. I have to know who she is."
Whoa.
Intern runs out the door, chases her to the front door, and is like, hey, stop 1 second. Are you an actress? And Demi's like, yeah, I just got out of the Weird Science audition. And he's like, Joel Schumacher wants to see you for the movie he's doing in St. Elmo's Fire. And so they bring her in, and he talks to her, and then they like hit it off, and then it's off to the races.
That's not real.
That's
not how
a
it
story.
happens, Ty.
That is a story.
You have to
that is
hustle,
told.
and you have to like sweat for years
that's
and
the
years.
thing. You don't have to hustle. You just have to be in the right place at the right time. That's what I hate about this industry sometimes.
That's crazy, Lucky. Whoa.
Ugh.
Wow.
Yep.
Because this is kind of like her first
This
thing,
is her
isn't
first
it?
big thing.
Yeah,
she
she's
comes
so young in this.
He has her actually do an audition. She shows up on a motorcycle. It's showing what a badass she is.
Very cool, very cool.
And then she nails the part. And after this, before that, she'd only done General Hospital, the soap opera. And then after this, she does One Crazy Summer, which is on our list. It's a John Cusack 80s movie.
Well, I don't think we need to watch that.
And that's the next year. And then she does a couple more films with Emilio and Rob Lowe.
Okay.
She does a couple more movies.
Okay.
And then her big movie, 1990.
Striptease? Ghost.
Yeah, not striptease.
That was later.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Ghost.
Yep. Andrew McCarthy. He is the tall, skinny one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's actually in other John Hughes movies. He's in Pretty in Pink, I think.
Okay. He looked familiar.
Yep.
And I liked his story in this. He was very kind of like the tortured friend who's kind of on the outskirts, but kind of pops into everybody's story a little bit at times.
Sure,
I mean, they all pop into each other's story, but yes, long suffering in love with one of the friends who are not friends, but with one of the girls who is dating his friend.
Yep. Ally Sheedy.
Ally Sheedy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So he was cute.
You must have been in love with someone sometime.
Yeah, once. Junior high, I played bongos in this band, and I fell in love with our lead singer. And she sang We've Only Just Begun, as sweet as Karen Carpenter. So one night I got really high on this cheap malt liquor, and I pledged my love to her. And the next day, she ran off with a bass player named Ringo. So I turned in my bongos for a battered Underwood typewriter.
So, oh, no, I don't want to get into it yet. Okay, so Andrew McCarthy was a shoo-in by both director and Joel Schumacher and the studio. They're both like, this has to be Andrew McCarthy.
Nice.
There's nobody else to audition. Just cast him.
Okay.
It's a shoo-in.
Yeah, he was good.
And he was in, Pretty in Pink a year after this. And then he's in a movie that's on our list, 1989. You're going to hate it, but I think it's kind of funny. Weekend at Bernie's.
I've seen enough of Weekend at Bernie's, but we'll do it.
Have you?
Enough.
What's the plot to Weekend at Bernie's? Prove it.
I don't want to spoil it for the listeners.
No, you won't. You won't. You just give us a synopsis. If they watch a 2-minute trailer, they'll get it.
Well, there's a dead body, and we pretty much have to make the dead body pretend like it's alive, so that way we don't get in trouble for it being a dead body. I don't know the premise of why. Is it our boss's body?
Yeah, it's their boss.
Okay, thought so. I don't know why does Weekend at Bernie's 2 come around? That's what's really interesting.
You want to watch Weekend at Bernie's 2? That's the one I know better because it was on an HBO during the summer when my parents were at work.
Oh, boy.
So I'd watch Weekend at Bernie's 2 almost daily. So instead of them positioning his body, they play like Caribbean tunes on a radio, and then he dances. He dances around as like a dead person. That's the whole plot.
Very cool.
But really, I think he's dancing to Treasure. So it's a treasure story.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, very fun. You should check it out.
I won't.
It's worth a watch. Let's talk about this Brat Pack idea.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So the whole idea comes from around this movie. Here's the other two people who get linked to the Brat Pack besides
Hold on,
this
time out.
exact group.
You missed one of the gals. You didn't talk about Wendy.
Oh, I have Wendy stuff a little bit later. But we can talk about Wendy right now.
No, it's okay. I just
Here.
everyone forgets about Wendy.
No, let's talk about Wendy. I was going to talk about her in filming, and it makes sense
I'm
because
sorry.
of this. No, it's okay. Mara Winningham was Wendy.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy the Virgin.
Yes, Wendy the Virgin.
Yep.
That's her character.
Fun thing about Wendy the Virgin is Wendy is not a virgin because Wendy, during this movie, is preggers.
Oh, really?
Yep, she's pregnant. That's why they put her in baggy clothes the whole time.
She was in the biggest of dresses ever. Okay.
There you go. That's why, because she was showing.
Oh,
Yep.
That's exciting.
Uh-huh.
Here's for you, Wen.
And kind of a fun thing about her, she was just nominated for a Tony Award this year for Girl in the North Country. Have you ever heard this play? Or it's a musical, I think.
Is it the one that has to do with Bob Dylan music?
Yes, that takes place.
Is
Do you know
she
where it
the
takes
main?
place at?
In Duluth.
Yeah, it's in Duluth, Minnesota.
Yeah. I saw the Tony performance. Was she the main singer?
I don't know.
She's in it, maybe?
She says it says featured role, so I don't think she's lead actress. Featured actress, I think.
Cool.
Yeah, so she got nominated for a Tony.
Very cool for you, Wen.
But she's done some TV. She's been nominated for a couple Emmys. She was nominated for an Oscar in this Georgia movie that I hadn't heard of.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, so she has done some stuff that's gotten applause, but I didn't recognize any of this stuff.
She looked familiar as well, but not not to the extent that I could tell you anything else other than she looks familiar.
Yeah, so I didn't mean to leave Wendy out.
Okay.
I was just going to hit the Prager stuff during film time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you're right. We should bring her up with everybody else. So the Brat Pack, that is this exact cast of 7.
Okay.
That's the Brat Pack.
Oh,
Plus Molly Ringwald
Uh-huh.
and Anthony Michael Hall. Do you know what Anthony Michael Hall is?
Yeah, from Breakfast Club.
Short, shrimpy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you shrimpy, Anthony.
No.
He's not anymore. He's in the new Halloween movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's like heftier. He's big. Like you would never recognize him now.
Oh,
and the characters he
interesting.
plays is very different. Yeah.
Huh.
I was shocked. I was like, whoa, that's Anthony Michael Hall? Yeah, very different now. So here's what happened. A reporter before this movie was hanging out with Estevez, Lowe, and Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3 dudes in this movie.
Yep.
He's hanging out with them, and they take him out on the town for the night. The reporter doesn't like any of them. Pretty much says they're huge dicks.
Oh, no.
And wrote this scathing expose about them,
Oh, no.
detailing their night together.
Uh-huh.
And they say that he hated them because they were young, good looking, had money already, and girls were all over them.
Uh-huh.
And so there's like this conflicting report, like were they douchebags or were they not? But he labels them the Brat Pack as like a dig.
diss. Yeah,
As a dig. And it works. People start thinking they're super egotistical and out of control, and they start talking about youth in the 80s. Like the Gen Xers, like they're all crazy and you can't, like they're all partying and doing drugs and hooking up with each other and where's all the morals and stuff like that. That whole Reagan kind of conservative movement attacks this group of youth, the Brat Pack, and it affects almost every single one of their careers and hurts them for a few years.
Interesting.
Yep.
Oh, I thought they were going to like switch it and take it like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, we're the Brat Pack.
That's what I thought.
You know, just change the narrative.
Yeah.
Yep, we're cool.
No, they hated the term. They thought it was super degrading. And their agents started telling them once this moniker just picked up so much steam, they're eventually, because they do films together, like in different iterations. Like I mentioned Demi Moore with Emilio and Rob for a couple more movies. But then their agents start to come down on them and say, no more.
Oh, no
you
more
guys
movies
cannot
together.
be in movies together. We need to repair your images.
Yeah.
You cannot be this Brat Pack anymore. People hate you guys.
Yeah. They hate them or they want to be them.
Maybe that's what it is. So, Andie MacDowell, do you know who that is? She's in Groundhog's Day.
Oh, it was the gal in this.
Yes.
Yeah, with the big, bushy brown hair.
Yep.
Yeah, Groundhog's Day is probably the easiest one to think of.
Yep, very cute, I think.
Yeah,
And
she's very pretty.
She's in Multiplicity.
Yes.
Yep. And so she's done quite a few movies in the 90s especially. And she was pretty new, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed.
Also, yeah,
you can
very
tell because
young.
of her hair how bushy-tailed she was. And she said that the cast was so cool.
Yeah.
She said they were the coolest people on earth, and she was super intimidated by them. They'd go out, and she said one member of the cast was the best dancer she's ever seen.
Demi Moore.
Nailed it.
I can tell.
How could you tell?
She's so coordinated. Have you seen Striptease?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen G.I. Jane?
You know I have.
She was dancing in this a little bit, and she didn't look totally helpless.
But she was also new to the industry, but she was so sure of herself. She just like was this mad, badass dancer.
Yeah. That's what you gotta be when you're new in the biz, you know? Just
I
go for it.
I suppose. Now, here is something. Anthony Edwards and Leah Thompson both auditioned for this movie and didn't get in. Oh. How do you know these two? Anthony Edwards from Summer's Off movie this season with Meg Ryan. Take me home, I'll love you forever.
Top Gun.
Yep, from Top Gun.
Yeah.
And then Leah Thompson is the babe of a mom from Back to the Future.
Oh.
And Howard the Duck and
yeah,
like
yeah. Oh, she would have been good in this.
Yep. I don't know what roles they were up for, but it just says they both auditioned and were rejected. This is a year before Anthony Edwards and Top Gun. And this is
What did Anthony Edwards want to be in this, I wonder? Was he going for
I mean,
our other skinny guy in this?
to me, I feel like maybe he'd be like the Emilio part.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's the role that kind of fits, I think.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Especially if the other dude was tied in for the skinny writer. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know who it would have been. And Leah Thompson, she does Back to the Future this same year.
Oh, well, good.
So she's
She's
up.
fine.
Yeah, like her story ends happily.
Yeah, she didn't get affiliated with the Brat Pack in that way, and she
Yep.
went on to make, multiple movies.
Yep. You got it. Gosh, my stupid little keyboard is showing up in weird spots. Anyways, so they wanted to film parts of this movie in Georgetown, but Georgetown said no. Why?
Because it's the Brat Pack. Before we knew that they were the Brat Pack. I could see why a college would be like, yeah, we don't want to be so associated with this film that we're not 100% is going to show us in a great light. We don't know that these are great humans. I don't know, something like that.
You're pretty much dead on.
And they go on, everyone's so confused after college, they don't know what they're doing. It's like, no, we want to make sure our graduates have a purpose and have a direction, and they're not floating on the wind.
Well, guess who was like, you are dead on, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
But guess who was like, oh, we don't care. Yeah, they can film it here. University of Maryland.
Yeah.
They're like,
party's down.
We'll take those little slobs. We're good. And during shooting, Emilio and Andrew McCarthy, they live together and they become super good buds.
Yeah.
So even though they would go out and party as a cast, they're actually like super kind of introverted, a lot of them. McCarthy kept to himself and listened to Springsteen cassettes during his downtime. And Emilio got really into writing screenplays. He actually does a movie that's one of his screenplays right after this.
Okay.
And so the whole time they're like on breaks, he's over there scribbling notes and like writing scenes and stuff for his next screenplay.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and
I knew I liked him.
And then Judd Nelson was a big reader, so he'd just go off to a corner and read a lot.
Sounds like you'd be friends with all these guys.
I thought the same thing. I was like, this sounds like my group.
Springsteen, scripts, reading.
Yes.
You love those things.
I do. I love all three of those. Hey, there's a chant that the boys and the girls, they both do during this movie. Can you do it for us?
No, it was like walla walla whoop, walla walla whoop, whoop, whoop. That's what
It's
I
actually
remember.
bugala bugala ha 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 or something like that.
That's what I said.
Wally wally whoop, wally wally whoop whoop.
Something like that.
Bugala bugala ha 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 ha. So
Yeah, what's that from?
it was a chant that the three boys made up.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe four boys made up. I don't know who all was part of it. Because when they would hang out, they would go out to eat and stuff like that, or go to clubs, and they would want to like try to get in with these girls, and these rich foreign guys would always like snag the gals that they wanted. And so then they started making fun of them, and that's supposed to be like them talking. They said they used to always sit around and talk to each other, and they sounded like bugala 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 ha 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 ha. And the cast, that was not written in. The cast all took to it. They were like, let's do it. That's our thing. And they found the moments where they're going to add it in.
Oh,
so that bugala bugala ha 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 thing is like an inside joke that the cast took on.
That's very good.
Yep. Demi Moore, when she came into the shoot, had addiction problems, just like her character.
Oh, yeah.
She showed up to a fitting, super high, and Joel Schumacher pulled her aside and said, "You're going to rehab."
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Wow.
And if I even sense anything, he goes, "I don't care where we are in the process. If I sense anything with you, you're fired." He's like, "Oh, well, I don't have to keep you. Like
I
you're
mean,
you're not a
you're
name
not
right
wrong.
now.
Yeah.
So if you're not clean, I'm firing you right away."
I can't even believe he went to the extent of doing that. Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work to put somebody in rehab. Like, how many months did that set them back, I wonder?
I don't know.
Or is it like simultaneous?
It was just during a fitting, so I don't know. Maybe it was like a 6-week or 4-week rehab. I don't know if it had to be like a 6-month thing.
Yeah. Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
Did she stay clean doing that?
Apparently,
I'm
yeah.
assuming.
Yep.
Assuming yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
There's a scene that Demi hates in this movie. Do you know what scene it is?
Well, I've got my guesses.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a random scene where she's dancing and her skirt flies up and we see her butt.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, well, you weren't paying attention.
Is that while Rob's playing the sax?
No, this is at the party at the house.
Oh, okay, the rich house?
Yes.
Yep.
Or it's not that one, obviously. I'm thinking is it the car scene with her and Rob Lowe?
No, but explain this car scene. This is a good time to get into
cringy.
it.
So this, Rob Lowe's character, like Ty said before, like he's essentially tried to go after every single gal. And they're coming back from like a party, and like him and Demi are in the car, and they're thinking, oh, let's go back to her place, and they start kind of like messing around in the car, and then she wants to stop, and he just does the worst type of like pressuring her to like do stuff. Like it's so, I mean, it's supposed to be cringy then, but it's extra cringy now. Yeah. Even because I know they play it off and they're friends later, but it's like that's a friendship ender big time. The stuff that he pulls, like he gets kind of forceful with her in the car.
He keeps trying to force her head down.
Yeah, and he takes the keys and he puts them down his pants. He's like, "Come get them." And it's like, dude. We're done. Yeah. Well, unforgivable.
And it's not like we forgive him for that scene though. We have to acknowledge that the way that's presented, like we feel really bad for Demi and feel like Rob's such a schmuck in that scene.
Yeah, we do.
And because Demi said like tonight I needed a friend, like and he didn't provide that. Like you're pretty much like you're not my friend.
Yeah.
Like I see what you want. You're not a true friend anymore. And but then he has a moment of kind of redemption at the end with her, and this is the scene that she hated.
Oh.
She hated I'm going to open up all the windows and make it really cold and like slowly commit suicide because I'm so shivery. Like she said that was stupid.
It was a weird way, like a weird cry for help. I was thinking the stakes were gonna be a little bit higher when she locks herself in the apartment and everyone's trying to get in and saying like, no, don't hurt yourself, and it's just cold in the apartment. I agree. I was thinking like, oh, that's not really as crazy. We don't need to break the door down for that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would have wanted that would have been crazier. You know?
The whole production team makes fun of it too. They're like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Like she's going to freeze to death, like the slowest death ever.
I don't know. Like maybe like an overdose or something.
That's what I
interesting.
thought. Yep.
Because you can't get anything like too violent because we have to be able to like have like a moment of levity briefly right after that. So,
because you got to learn what St. Elmo's fire is. Rob Lowe explains
how else
it.
Are we going to know what the hell is St. Elmo's fire?
Hey, how does he explain this St. Elmo's fire stuff? Do you remember how he plays it for what it is, the lightning or whatever? But how does he explain it to her?
Does he say she is St. Elmo's fire?
I think
you're like St. Elmo's fire.
I think it's like you're searching for St. Elmo's fire.
Yeah.
Like you're looking for this electricity that doesn't really exist. That's what I took it as. Like you're searching for a life and an electricity to your life that's not really something that truly exists.
They made it up. They made it up because they thought they needed it to keep them going when things got tough. Just like you're making up all of this. We're all going through this. It's our time on the edge.
I'm just so tired, Billy. I never thought I'd be so tired at 22. I just don't even know who to be anymore.
Join the club.
It was dialogue that once we were through it, I knew I needed to rewatch the dialogue to understand what it was we just said.
It felt deeply philosophical in a movie that I wasn't prepared to go deeply philosophical.
It caught me unawares.
Yep.
Especially coming out of Rob Lowe's mouth. I was like, wait, what's he going to say? What about what?
Now, we talked about the weird car scene between Demi and Rob. There was another sexual scene. Do you want to talk about it?
There is another Rob Lowe.
Too bad we're talking about it.
Another Rob Lowe scene.
Sure.
That's one.
Yep.
Oh, you're thinking of a different one.
Go ahead. Talk about that other
Rob
Lowe
has
scene.
sex with another friend
Yep.
in the cast. And yeah, he just ends up essentially. There's a friend, Wendy the Virgin.
Yep.
That is her story essentially.
Is losing her virginity.
It would be like a really sad story, I think. And she's an interesting character, but they just don't give her hardly anything. I think.
Yep.
I would be a little bit bummed if that was my character.
Yeah, because she's a rich girl who's trying to start her own career in life, doesn't want to take money from dad anymore, is trying to figure her shit out and wants to find love. And then Rob keeps asking, are you still a virgin? Are you still a virgin? Like every scene.
They just didn't do enough with her, and I think they should have, because I thought that was, there was something there that could have been, I don't know, worked on.
Do you think her and Rob end up together at the end?
No, not at all.
I didn't either.
No, and I like that they don't end up together, because I think that's a terrible idea. I think a lot of these people being together is a terrible idea. But anyways, yeah, she loses her virginity to Rob Lowe. Go figure. Great choice. Yeah.
So there was a different sex scene in this movie as well.
Yes, another one. More friends hooking up.
Yep.
So we have there's a couple that stays together for a good chunk of it. The Republican and then
Ally Sheedy.
Ally Sheedy, which unfortunately Ally Sheedy, her character is not super fleshed out other than she's the Republican's girlfriend.
Yeah, she's just kind of the
what's
kind
her
of the
job,
gal.
What's her MO? We don't really know, which is also kind of a
But
bummer.
she mentions being career-oriented.
Yeah.
We know she really wants to have a career.
Yeah.
She's not ready to settle down and get married. She doesn't want to have a family yet.
Yeah.
She has things she needs to do.
Yeah. We still know what they are because they didn't write it for her.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, so they end up breaking up because she finds out that he's essentially been messing around a lot. He wants her to get engaged to him so that he will stop messing around.
Yep.
It's very interesting.
Yep.
Leslie has to marry me soon.
Why, you pregnant? What does your marriage hurry?
I'm gonna kill myself.
It's only peppers out.
I can't believe what I just did. I innocently go downtown to buy the nightgown, and this amazingly leggy blonde sales girl offers to model it for me. So we wind up doing it standing up in the dressing room in front of a three-way mirror.
So there's 6 of you.
Ha, ha, ha. If Leslie would just marry me.
Marriage is going to make you faithful.
Yes.
I'm sorry. The notion of 2 people spending their entire lives together was invented by people who were lucky to make it to 20 without being eaten by dinosaurs. Marriage is obsolete.
She ends up then staying the night with the guy friend who I'm going to not remember
Andrew
his name.
McCarthy.
Thank you.
Yep, the writer.
And he essentially confesses his love for her.
Dangerous question. Well, I think I hang around you guys so much, personally, because, well, you're all I think about.
Me?
And, I think that the reason I'm not interested in other women and why I haven't had sex in so long is because I am desperately, completely in love with you. Whew.
Kevin.
Well, we won't even remember this tomorrow, huh?
It is tomorrow.
Yeah, she finds, kind of like in Love Actually again.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of the tape Keira Knightley puts in, what happens instead?
She finds this box that has like a ton of photos of her.
Yeah.
Also kind of creepy, but
Yes.
kind of like romantic, but kind of creepy.
I felt like this. Okay, maybe this. Okay, when I'm really breaking it down, a guy's videotaping a girl and splicing together a video that's like all about her. Mm-hmm. Is it creepy? Sure, it can be, but I think it's more loving and romantic.
That guy's also an artist.
Yeah.
And so there's something to it that kind of, I don't know.
Yep.
That he's a little bit off the hook in that sense.
So that's Love Actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Andrew McCarthy in this movie takes a ton of Polaroids of her and has this little like collection of Polaroids.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, that to me is way creepier.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah, it is. It is. It's jarring.
I was in love with you, borderline obsessed.
Yeah.
And I would never have a bunch of pictures of us.
You're talking to me.
Yeah, I'm talking to you personally.
Me.
Rachel Ann in the closet with me right now. When we were buddies, I would there would be like a picture or something like on Facebook that'd be like, oh, Rach. Oh. But it'd be like one picture and I wouldn't have it printed out.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't put it anywhere in my room. Like, it's just like, hey, I need to see Rach right now. Like, log on.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's the thing. Maybe they didn't have Facebook back then.
Yeah, their way
that's
of like
what it is.
stalking on. But yeah, so the two of them hook up that night, and that goes on for a while. They have a lot of scenes of that. It's not just a one-time thing. It's like in the bedroom, on the table, in the shower,
on top of a coffin.
On top of a coffin that's a coffee table. It's just there's a lot there.
So that scene, they did not think there was a sex scene in this movie. According to the script, it looked like it was going to be like a kiss and then a blackout.
Yeah.
And so when they got there and Joel Schumacher's talking about like having a sex scene, they're like, sex scene? There's no sex scene in this.
What?
And so they totally got it sprung on them.
Ugh.
And then they were super uncomfortable. They were both very shy.
Of course.
And even though
you weren't prepped for that.
They were friends, they were like super nervous about this.
That almost makes it worse.
And the scene goes on for so long.
Yeah.
In so many different iterations.
It has to be like a half day's worth of shooting.
And so Sheedy feels really uncomfortable. She wears a bodysuit in the shower part of the scene.
Okay.
Which, by the way, in the shower, there's a moment where the door opens.
Yeah.
And she like screams and she goes, Anthony!
Oh, she says Anthony?
She says Andrew. She says Andrew. She says his actual name. And that is a candid moment. The door to the shower wasn't supposed to open. They thought it was like latched or something. Oh. And then it opened and like flung open and it kind of broke. And she went, ah! And she screamed and started laughing. And she goes, Anthony, Andrew. And that is a totally candid moment.
That's so funny.
Yep. But
I didn't catch that.
She wore a bodysuit during that scene. During the sex scene, Joel Schumacher kept being like, I need more. And they were just so uncomfortable with each other, like trying to make this happen. And finally, he just started screaming at them, you're effing each other. You're effing. And Ally started to cry.
Oh.
And Andrew McCarthy goes, Joel, you're being an asshole right now. You need to back off.
Yeah.
And had to tell him off.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Joel says it's the most embarrassing moment of his entire career.
How he acted?
Yeah. He said
okay.
how I was trying to get them to be more loving to each other is the worst and most embarrassing moment of my career.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you can self-reflect on that because you sound pretty schmucky.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on that scene?
I didn't need it to be that long.
Yeah.
I get that I more than a blackout was fine, but I did not need it to be that long because if anything, that led me to believe are you guys is this gonna be a long-term thing? Are we in love? But just to jump to the end a little bit with that story is at the end she says, I just want to be by myself for a while, which I really appreciated that. I thought that was a great ending. I didn't want her to just all of a sudden go to Andrew. I like the idea because, we saw a little bit of their chemistry, but not enough from her to him to make us feel no, this is good. This is good for both of them. So I was glad that she's going to take some time. Yeah, and not be with anybody.
I thought it was I was just complaining about Something's Gotta Give and how it had a Hollywood ending. And I really appreciated this was not a Hollywood ending.
Yeah.
But here's my question.
Yes.
Could those three remain friends? You've got two dudes who are best friends. There's a moment in the movie where you think McCarthy is in love with Nelson and that those two are going to get together, the Republican and the writer.
Yeah.
And did you have a moment, by the way, where you could tell, he's not gay? The writer?
I think when he was telling the prostitute on the street that he wasn't gay.
Oh, okay.
I believe that.
Yeah, okay.
He had no reason to lie to her. When she was he asking her well, how come you never hit on me? And she's like, oh, I think you're gay. And
you dress weird.
And you dress weird. Again, fascinated by his story. Do I think there's a world that they can all be friends? I think they can all be friends while we're still all pining and trying to figure out what Allison's doing. But as soon as she makes a move, either for somebody in the Brat Pack or outside of it, then
they're doomed.
They're probably doomed. They're more likely to be friends if she doesn't choose either of them.
And she ends up with somebody else, and then they can mutually hate that guy.
Then
but then still want to be friends with her because they're still in love with her.
Exactly.
Yep.
They would throw each other under the bus so quickly if the opportunity came up. They just would.
Yep.
I just have to believe it.
For sure. Now, do you want her... What do you want for Ally Sheedy's character? Do you want her to end up with somebody else? Do you want her to be by herself for a year and then end up with one of the two guys? What do you want? What do you want?
Honestly,
Notebook. What do you want?
It's a little too close to home for me to be able to answer that. So I can't really speak to that.
There are some autobiographical tendencies to some of the storylines. It was wild. Now, I want you to go back in time.
Okay.
I saw this in 2009. Fresh out of undergrad. 2 months out of undergrad. I watched this movie, St. Elmo's Fire. After watching Breakfast Club and Pretty in Pink and 16 Candles. Then I see this movie. And I'm like, I just graduated college.
That's interesting.
I'm trying to transition to the real world. I feel lost. I feel like, what the heck's going on next? I'm in love with some chick who's with somebody else in our group. That was a total thing. I was like, oh my gosh.
Is this your favorite 80s movie?
This movie is maybe too close to home to be a super enjoyable experience to travel through.
I feel the same way. I mean, no, I kind of hope she ends up with the Andy character, but, I also want her to, figure that out on her own, maybe solo first.
Sure.
So, I was more in love with you than she was with Andy.
Oh,
at
yeah?
this time. I'll just put that out there.
Okay. Yes! There was love on the set, though.
There was love on the set?
Who fell in love on this set, Rach?
Did Rob Lowe and Demi ever date?
I don't think so.
Okay, that's surprising. They're very good-looking people. Other love?
Other love.
Does it involve either of those two that I mentioned?
Demi, yes.
Demi, yes. Demi and... Oh, gosh, I've got a 75% chance right now. Judd?
Nope.
Dang it.
Emilio.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know those two
Ooh.
dated. They were even engaged.
They were engaged.
They were engaged for a time.
Whoa.
They dated for a while.
Yeah, to be engaged one you typically
Well,
is.
you say that, but that's not always true.
That's true.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like we dated for 4 months, then we got
when you're
engaged.
20-something, it's like,
That's true.
It's kind of impressive.
Yep.
Wow.
Now, before this film was released, the studio hated the title. I think it was Columbia Pictures. They hated it. They wrote a 35-page manifesto just bashing on the title, talking about how stupid it was. St. Elmo's Fire is so dumb. They wanted to call it one of these two titles.
Okay.
Real World. It's funny because what we know is going to become with that title soon. Real World is number one. Option number 2, Sparks.
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 I like Real World more than Sparks. No, St. Elmo's Fire is good because it's so, I was going to say ubiquitous, but I don't think I mean that. It's just, you don't know what it's about.
Yeah.
It's just so like, what am I gonna see
It's
here?
provocative.
It's provocative is what it is. Very much so.
Nobody knows what that means. It's provocative. This movie releases in June 28th
Okay.
of 1985. Remember, Breakfast Club was in February. The movie costs $10 million to make.
Cheap.
It would have been cheap besides paying for the people,
Yeah.
I feel like. And it made $6.1 million opening weekend. Only made $37 million overall. So
Okay.
it was kind of like a moderate success.
Yeah, if you didn't put too much in, you're not
Yeah.
gonna get so much
It
out.
wasn't like Top Gun, which I think was like $60 million and made like $360 million. So,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Yep. It released, it was number 4 behind the movie Pale Rider with Clint Eastwood. Cocoon, Ron Howard movie.
Oh yeah, that's got aliens in it, doesn't it? Or
Yeah,
old people and aliens, or
Oh, I don't know. Are there old people in it too?
I think the old people go into the cocoons, don't they?
And they come out aliens or come out young?
I don't remember.
I've never seen it. And then this movie, which is an awesome movie, Rambo 2, First Blood. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I've only seen Rambo 3: Second Blood.
Yes, you have. Here are some taglines.
For Rambo?
No.
Oh, okay. I got excited.
Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen Rambo? The first one?
Enough of it. But you could put it on the list.
Okay. I'll think about putting it on.
Think about it.
I actually think Rambo 2 is more fun. Rambo 1's almost like more, like it's more of a thinker. It's like, oh, wow.
Rambo 1's a
I know that sounds bizarre. He's like running around in the woods, like hiding from people like an AWOL soldier. So it makes you like kind of think about like, wow, he's been through a lot of shit. In Rambo 2, he goes back to Korea and just starts destroying people. So it's like, whoa, that's fun. All right, here's the taglines.
Okay.
The passion burns deep. The heat this summer is at St. Elmo's Fire. They thought they'd be friends forever, but forever couldn't last. You can always count on your friends. Don't ever let that fire go out.
There was one in there, like 2 before the end, that I liked.
The heat this summer is at St. Elmo's Fire?
No, the next one.
They thought they'd be friends forever, but forever couldn't last.
Yeah. That's what
You would like that one.
Why did I like
because
that
that's how
one?
you feel about all your friends.
What do you
You
mean?
think you're going to be friends with me forever, but I'm just going to warn you right now, forever's not going to last. Because I'm Rach. I'm more picky with my friends.
Whoa. That has nothing to do with it.
I'll be honest, that wasn't true at all. Like,
That hurts my
it literally
feelings.
was like the antithesis of truth. Rotten Tomatoes score, guess. What do you think?
Well, yeah, what? I mean, in some ways, like Rob Lowe said, it was ahead of its time.
Uh-huh.
And in some ways, I don't know that the execution was great.
Okay.
Oh, it's tricky. I don't think
know.
it was fresh.
Okay.
I think it was like just under. Let's say 59.
59%.
59%.
Wrong. 42%.
Ooh,
It did not do super great.
42.
The audience score, though,
59?
nope, 68%.
Okay.
Closer.
All right.
Critics' consensus. St. Elmo's Fire is almost peak Brat Pack. I mean, it should be peak Brat Pack. It's where the term came from. But consensus writers are usually brilliant on these things. A little off on this one. It's got the cast, the fashion, and the music. But the characters are too frequently unlikable. What did you think of the music, Rach? Stand Elmo's fire.
What do I think of the music?
Yep.
Well, it was that song, and then the soundtrack that You Can't Stop Singing, and then there was another song too, but I can't remember. There's another popular song. No, that's just
there's another song. When Rob Lowe is playing the sax, there's a song that's a famous song.
The sax, his saxophone solo went on way too long. I only have so much ear bandwidth for saxophone riffing.
Saxophone? You're watching somebody play the saxophone or watching a car chase? What do you pick? What do you glaze over first at?
Oh boy. That is probably the most comparable thing I've ever heard in my life. That is so evenly split.
Really? Okay.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I think I'll probably glaze over the sax first, but
because at least there's some motion on the screen.
Yeah, the car chase could be interesting. There could be something different that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
that's hard.
One thing I loved is Rob Lowe is playing his saxophone directly into the ear of some girl at a table right by the stage, and you can tell she's like, "Oh my gosh, it's so loud!" She keeps laughing, and he keeps spraying. He keeps like nailing her right in the face with his horn, and then he does this thing that I just did to Rach 2 days ago, and she reacts almost the same way Rach does. He shakes his head really fast, and her sweat goes all over, rains upon her.
So
I just did that to Rach, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, your sweat just rained upon me."
Well, it was gross. It was like it was raining.
And you feel like the girl, you could almost hear her saying the same thing to Rob Lowe. Oh my gosh, your sweat just rained upon me, Rob. You're not famous enough yet for that. Okay, so here is a couple reviews for you.
Okay.
The film is edited so skittishly that the actors are barely able to complete their sentences, let alone their thoughts. That's probably just as well. New York Times. Now, here's another review for you. This movie is an icon of the 80s. Movie Mom.
It was her movie of the 80s.
He's like, yep, this is my icon of the 80s.
Love this movie.
I love this movie. Rob Lowe, put those earrings back in. Grow your hair out, baby.
Oh, my.
Cool Jackets by Rob Lowe.
Cool jackets?
Yeah.
What were special about his jackets?
He just wear cool jackets and like I thought his sense of style was pretty cool. Uh-oh. I can see Rach being like, oh no.
Do you want to go as Rob Lowe for Halloween?
No. I already have too many things I want to go for Halloween. I want to be Ryan Gosling and Drive.
Yeah, again with the jacket.
Scorpion jacket.
You're so weird about jackets.
Hey, what are those hand grippy things that I could have for
gloves.
the jacket? Oh, gloves. Yeah,
just
gloves.
Driving
gloves. Okay, yeah.
Oh.
Rach.
Yum.
Critics hated this movie in general. It won a Razzie.
Oh, did it?
For Best Supporting Actor for which actor?
Emilio Estevez?
Nope.
Because I'll be honest.
He probably should have gotten it.
Well, he just had a terrible time of what his script was. Like, I would be pissed if I was his character. Like, it is Bologna.
Yep.
Did you say guy or a gal? Or
guy.
Did I just? Oh, it was a guy. Did I just assume?
Yeah. Worst supporting actor.
Worst supporting actor. I don't know. I mean, the other three weren't awful in their roles.
I agree with you, but it was Robbie Lowe.
It was Rob Lowe, sure. I mean, his character was annoying, but I think he was supposed to be.
Okay, here's what I'll say. His character was annoying, but he felt real.
I know. That's why I think, like...
I'll almost say that about all of them.
Yeah.
Even the more annoying they were, I still felt like these are real freaking people. I know almost every single person in this movie.
This had a lot of camp-isms to me. When we watched Camp, that was one of my biggest things. Is like, I'm annoyed with
but
some
the
of these
acting
people.
is so much better than Camp.
Yes.
It's not even a question.
No, that's not a
question. Debate.
It's not a debate. But just when I want to go and I want to critique the writing, it's like, well, it's not that the characters weren't real. Like, I think those are real people.
I actually thought
the circumstances are crazy, but again, it's also real.
But was it that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, besides Emilio's storyline of being like so obsessed with this person that you're like pretty freaking creepy.
Yeah.
Everybody else's storylines, I felt real to me, and I thought the dialogue was actually pretty good, and the acting was pretty good. But I don't know. We're getting a little too close to the end. Maybe we want to save it for a little bit.
Okay.
Guess who loves this movie? Gwyneth Paltrow. She loves this movie so much. Whenever she sees Rob Lowe, she quotes the movie. It just starts coming out of her. And Rob Lowe says, like, there's been times where she seriously said, Rob, if you don't stop me, I will literally start at the beginning of the movie and quote the entire thing from beginning to end.
Wow.
She loves it that much.
She just wanted to be in the pack so badly. Because think about, like, her age-wise, like, she's probably was just, like, a little too young for this group. Yeah. But she would have idolized it. She would have been in middle school or, like, early high school when these guys are in their 20s. And she was just like, that is the group.
She's probably only, like, around 8 to 5 years behind them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's just,
they're the cool older kids.
These are the babysitters and the cool guys.
Yep. Guys can be babysitters too, I'll have you know.
The babysitters.
These are the babysitters, the women, and then the guys are the cool guys.
The cool guys. I don't know what I was trying to say.
Guess what girls I idolized at South Sioux?
Your babysitters.
No.
Oh.
Sorry, babysitters. I idolized the girls' basketball team.
Oh, yeah.
They were the idols of the town. They ruled the town.
They did.
I
in your town,
idolized
they did.
them.
For sure.
Oh my gosh. Nicole Oliver. She's so hot.
Please don't put full
She
names
was
of
so
people.
pretty and so good at basketball, babe. Amazing. You put a basketball in her hand, she's so freaking good, and she was beautiful.
That's great, but let's not call out people by their first and last name.
And my neighbor, who was so cool, Chris Walsh.
Don't
he was like
say
Rob
names.
Lowe. He was like,
I just said.
He was like the Rob Lowe of our neighborhood.
Gosh, we have to beep these out.
They're like
now.
the Rob Lowe and Demi Moore of our town. And I love them so much. So I was like Gwyneth Paltrow.
We're gonna get a cease and desist.
Chris Walsh would be like, stop talking about me, but keep comparing me to Rob Lowe.
Very cool. Very cool.
The song, St. Elmo's Fire. Go ahead and sing a little bit of it for us.
I already sang it. They don't want to hear it again.
It reached number 1 on the charts.
Oh, so that reached number 1, but box office-wise, this only got up to 4?
Yep. True story.
And honestly, that feels right to me. That song is pretty good. I knew the song before I ever knew the movie.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've known that song forever.
Did you know that song was like a soundtrack song?
Oh, that's a good question. Not for a long time, but eventually, yes, because I think I listened to it finally at one point, not just, in passing, and listened to the lyrics, and it said St. Elmo's Fire, and I thought in my head, that's the name of a movie, I think, and that's it. So yeah. I don't know when, but yeah, at some point I figured it out.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Good story, Rach. Good story.
It was a good story. It wasn't bad.
I'm crashing and burning here, folks.
We're at 11:37 at night.
I knew it. I could feel it.
And you can feel Rach's brain slowing down.
It wasn't up to speed
It's not
at all.
churning anymore. The butter's got to churn. The main film image is all of them sitting on a bench. And it was totally a candid photo. They were all just sitting there waiting for somebody to, like, the lighting guy to, like, finish doing the lighting stuff.
Yeah.
And they were just, like, kind of chilling. And a lot of them hate that image because they're, like, having double chins or, like, looking down or, like, making a dumb face. But they took this candid photo and the director was like, it's perfect. Can you imagine, like, a really terrible photo of you that became, like, the image they used for publicity?
Yeah.
You're so particular about that. I feel like you'd get so mad.
Because I have this unique ability to sometimes take the most horrendous candid photos. Sometimes candids can be great, but a lot of times I'm talking in them or like kind of like half blinking.
Or one eye's blinking.
Yeah, or making like a weird like mouth or shape with my mouth. So, double chins, been there, done all of those things. So yeah, I could see that being a problem for me. Now I love it for these guys, but I could see where I would have been like, come on, can we just take one more, please? Please, I swear I won't talk.
Yeah, yep. I could just see you being very upset. Being like, Joel, you throw that photo in the trash. That's not happening.
This was my one shot. This is my first movie poster.
You can go to the St. Elmo's Fire bar. It's called the Tombs in D.C.
Okay.
The Tombs.
Shout
If we were
out to
in
you
D.C.,
guys.
would that be on the list or not?
No.
Yeah,
DC
it wouldn't for me either.
has so much to see. Are you kidding me? Like, we're not even going to see the stuff we're supposed to see, let alone St. Elmo's Fire bar.
Can you imagine if so we're going over to Ireland and we have all these things that we're planning. Imagine if we were Irish and we were going to D.C. and we were like, we have to go to the St. Elmo's Fire bar. Everything like that would be our thing.
For some reason. It's a big hit over there,
Oh
apparently.
my gosh. It'd be so funny. I just trying to imagine people are like, we got to hit that up.
We got to.
Topher Grace is pitching the idea for a TV show, and NBC is developing it right now.
A TV show?
A St. Elmo's Fire TV show about 7 friends.
Post-college?
Trying to make their way in the world. Sounds very dramatic.
Honestly, it might do better.
I actually do think it might do better.
As something like that. Even just because you can let it breathe and stretch it out and it doesn't have to feel all crammed.
Can you imagine what a slow burn it is between our love triangle?
Sure.
That's like whole season.
Do you think they follow the same story, or would they have 7 friends with a brand new batch of crazy?
I hope that's what they would do.
Yeah, I would too. I wouldn't want them to be beholden to it.
Yeah.
You can like pull out personalities, but I wouldn't want anyone to be a carbon copy of this original crew. I would want 7 unique stories, and maybe try to figure out how these 7 people are connected.
Sure.
Because it's still a little fuzzy for me.
Yep. Yeah. It's funny, though, because I want them to make a Seventh Heaven movie, and I just think stick straight to the plot. Don't deviate. Just find a couple good episodes and combine it into a movie.
Get Jessica Biel on board.
Yeah.
Please.
Jessica Biel to play the mom now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How fun would that be?
You tell me.
Oh, I love this quote, by the way.
Okay.
Ally says towards the end of the movie, I just wish everything could go back to the way it used to be. But of course it doesn't. And of course it can't.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh.
Yeah,
it's a great quote.
There's a moment, too, where at the very end, they're getting ready to go back into their old bar, St. Elmo's, and they're looking in, and it's kind of full of, like, college kids and stuff, and they're like, yeah, maybe I can't tonight because I got, whatever. Like, should we do brunch on Sunday? Yeah, let's go to a different spot. So within the course of just the movie, we've already kind of established that, yeah, we're just... it's that hard age where you're just kind of like coming out of
you're in no man's land.
The bar scene, and you're like, yeah, I'm more of a brunch person now, or I'm more of like a let's go to a brewery casually.
That's what I felt like.
It's a shift.
I was like, this is the total bar to brewery shift that goes on now.
Yeah, for me.
And folks, your boy is purely in brewery zone, and I have been since like my late 20s, really.
Yeah.
Since I really discovered a brewery. I went to some of our first breweries, and I was like, this is great. There's kids running around, there's dogs everywhere, there's arcade games.
Yeah.
Everybody, I've never seen any dispute at a brewery before. At a bar, I've almost gotten personally into fights at bars. Girls get hit on the butt at a bar. Does that ever happen at a brewery? I can't imagine it. It might, but I can't imagine it.
It just is not the vibe typically. It's
it's all
definitely
family
more
friendly.
Chillax.
It's not super loud. You can talk. You can play bags.
You can have a conversation.
Yeah.
You can just sit at a table and play cards. Yeah, I'm into it.
I love the brewery scene.
I love getting older.
I actually don't hate it. And they close at 10, so it's like an excuse to be like, sorry, guys, we're going home and going to bed now. But I also thought it was funny because they mentioned, like, let's do brunch. And I thought about, we have a couple friends, our buddy David, who's so big into brunch.
Oh, yeah.
And mimosas at brunch. And, like, that is, like, a thing as you get older. It's like, let's have mimosas and get drunk before noon. How fun will that be?
Yeah, and then I got to nap all day.
That's my problem. Okay, I've almost graduated from brunch drinks because now I get headaches if I drink too early, and then I have to take a nap. Have you ever heard anything that old before?
I don't know. It's like peering into the future, though. That's what we have to look forward to. Lots of naps.
Rach, did you ever have an instance where you guys like owned a table at some place, or like that was like your typical booth? Not even if you owned it, but it was like, hey, that's our spot at this place, at a bar or restaurant.
No, I would say we had bars that were our bars that we would go to, but nothing that said like that corner spot is our spot, or like let's get our table, because most of them were uniform and about the same. So no, not really. Did you have anything like that?
No, not really at all.
Yeah.
Nope, not so much.
Do you wish you had that?
No, I actually don't.
No.
I mean, because they kick people out of their table.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think that I'd feel bad every time I did that, and I wouldn't want to get mad and obsessive over a spot. So, no, I don't.
Yeah, honestly, now
that.
that you say that, yeah, what would that be like? I don't even think they would honor that at bars anymore, if you think about that.
You'd have to be regulars that people love you.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, yeah, so-and-so, you got to get out of that table. That's Ty and Rach's table.
Yeah,
that's
just bad business.
Yeah, you'd have to be really close with the people who run it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't say that I know anybody who has... They have tables that they sit at, but nothing that's, like, reserved for you.
Yep, yep. Have you ever heard of putting butter on a burn when somebody burns themselves?
I have.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, that was a thing in this.
What's it do?
That was my first clue that he had feelings for her.
Gotcha.
I had no clues before that, other than he just had said that there was somebody he was in love with he wasn't supposed to be. And she burns her arm during a stir fry, and he like takes a little glob of butter and puts it on her. I don't know what it does, and it might be like an old thing that maybe really doesn't do anything for you, but if anything, it would just make you smell good. It tastes like good melty butter.
Did you miss fall watching this movie?
There was a part of me that thought like there was leaves and it was Halloween and we were on a college campus, and there's something about those things mixed together that makes one feel very like, oh, it was East Coast too, and I think East Coast has
Coast
a fall.
Oh, it's killer.
Primo.
Yep.
Yeah, not that I want to wish summer away, but I am thankful that fall follows summer.
Yeah, it's like
it makes it less hard.
It does, because it's like, okay, bye summer. My favorite season's here. Like, it's instead of being like, oh, winter's coming, it's like, no, we get this great season in the middle. So yeah, I'm excited for fall. I got really excited.
You're already excited for fall.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. I've already been looking at the spooky towns. I've already been looking at our Halloween Village stuff. I'm so pumped. Rach, did you notice, what'd you think of the drunk scene between Andrew McCarthy and, what's her name? Ally. What'd you think of their drunk scene together?
Andrew McCarthy and Ally's drunk scene?
Yeah, before they hook up.
Oh.
When they're acting drunk.
When they're talking to each other?
Yep.
I didn't have any qualms with it.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
Their eyes were glazed over. I don't know if they put like some eye stuff in there like to make them look bloodshot, or what happened, or like
well, she had either been crying or it was like an eye drop trick, but like her eyes were very watery.
Yeah, they were both
but it honestly also worked from a drinking perspective.
Yeah, like they were glazed over. You know, your eyes get extra like glazy. I thought it was good.
Some real method stuff there.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Pretty crazy movie magic.
Very impressed. Hey, do you believe in this kind of methodology with the Emilio Estevez storyline, that if you have somebody who's stalking you and who's obsessed with you, that you should just give them a kiss and then they'll go away? Is that the lesson that we take away from this? Like, just kiss your stalkers and then they'll finally leave you alone.
She was way too nice to him.
Way too nice.
Yeah, his behavior was like certifiable.
Yeah, 100%.
I would have called the cops.
Yeah.
At that point. He kept showing up to her work. He got upset with her because she didn't come to a party. Like,
so upset.
It was not something that I rooted for at all. I was like, this is bizarre to me.
Which is funny because the whole first part of the movie, like the first 25%, he's almost like a Romeo.
Yeah, I like him at the beginning.
He's like a hopeless romantic.
It's cute.
Instead of like this crazy person.
Yeah.
They go too far crazy that he loses all likability. I could have got on board if he was just like this Romeo who's just like, I'm not going to give up because I'm so into this girl, but it's because I'm so sweet and because I love her so much, like kind of thing. It just got too weird.
I can't believe that the whole movie was based off of this story. Right?
I think so. I mean, you're maybe right. Maybe it was also the McCarthy and Ally story.
I mean, you say that, but the other one sounds very much like that was the premise. It's almost a standalone story. Everyone else's stories kind of weave in and out of each other's a bit, and he's the only one who is really interested in somebody outside of the group and then does everything he can to get her attention and doesn't have like really any crossover with anybody else, really.
Yeah.
Not a ton.
There was a moment in the movie, towards the end, I remember like how crazy he gets, so that I didn't think this anymore. But I always thought when I first saw it that I was like the Andrew McCarthy character. The writer. But then after seeing it again today, I was like, oh, I might be more the Emilio. And then I forgot how far Emilio goes. I was like, oh gosh, I hope I'm not the Emilio.
Wait, never mind.
I
take it back. I'm not crazy.
There are several quintessential moments in a man's life. losing his virginity, getting married, becoming a father, and having the right girl smile at you.
Who were you
Ooh.
in this movie?
Well, I guess the person who has the vaguest storyline other than she's somebody's girlfriend is probably my story. So probably Ally's.
Okay.
Yeah, Allison.
Ally Sheedy, yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was the one who, I don't know, milk toast is kind of mean to say, but she was just kind of just your most typical normal out of everybody.
But she wasn't like milk toast as a personality.
No, I don't mean that.
And as an
I
actress,
shouldn't say
but-
milk toast. I just mean like she was the most I don't know, she just didn't have a big story of anything crazy happening to her. So I was like, oh, that's probably closest to me.
You're right that her story was so dependent on what was going on in her relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't have the really wealthy parents who I'm trying to not live at their house anymore, but I'm working my welfare job and I'm
Yep.
a virgin and I'm secretly in love with a bad boy, or the crazy gal who's got a drug problem, or
having
who's
sex with her
having
boss.
sex with her boss, or any of the guys. I didn't really relate to any
and
of the
has,
boys.
What's the musician that's on her wall? Then it has
I
these
think
cool.
it's David Bowie.
Yeah, it is David Bowie, and then it has these cool lights for the earring and for like the top of the hair.
It was very
It
cool.
was sweet.
Very cool mural art
But
in her apartment.
Did you notice Demi in her bedroom has this creepy like life-size clown?
Yeah. Yeah.
What
I
was
did
that
see
about?
Don't know. No clue. Probably made sense before like her bedroom got repoed. But
Okay.
Yeah, but at the time I was like, that's
But
weird.
they took away everything but the clown. They're like, hey, you can keep this creepy clown, but your bed's coming with us.
Yeah, as a set designer, I would just when I think back to like a Nancy Meyers film and like how much attention is paid to all those details, I thought, what story are we trying to tell with this clown here? Is it a circus?
In Joel Schumacher movies,
Circus?
they usually say the set is another character. So you could say that it's the eighth member of St. Elmo's Fire.
Brat Packer.
Yeah, the eighth bratter.
Yeah, the apartments were all so weird and so unique, right?
Yeah.
Like you had Demi Moore, she spent so much money on it, and she was just so extravagant with her lifestyle. And then you had the guys who were sharing the apartment. It was just
so
like run
gross.
down and nasty.
That's one thing that I could never do, like the whole can't find a clean cup
Ugh,
thing. You
yeah.
couldn't find a cup to put brandy in. I was like, gross, man. Oh, it's so gross.
And then you've got the couple, and their apartment is probably the most desirable out of all these, but it's the 80s, and they have like walls and walls of glass block everywhere.
They don't even go all the way up to the ceiling.
Oh,
and so
gosh.
it's like your
Partial
bedroom.
walls.
If somebody's out in the living room, they will hear everything that's going on in your bedroom because that wall only goes 2/3 of the way up.
Yeah.
And it's glass block, so they'll kind of see you.
Yeah. Well, and the apartment's like
and there's no door.
no, and it's industrial concrete, so you can just it's echoey, it's crazy.
It's weird.
It's not good.
No, I didn't want to live in any of the places.
Yeah.
Yep. Rach, what do you have for us today?
Honestly, we got through all of my
No way.
pieces. Yeah.
No way. Okay.
way.
So let's have some fun then.
Okay.
Who would you be friends with in this movie? Who would you hate in this movie?
Okay. I would probably hate the young Republican.
Because he was a Democrat? He was a Democrat, though.
Yeah, that's true. He just was so void of personality and so focused. Like his personality was his profession and his
hooking up
drivenness.
with other chicks.
Yeah,
He was into that.
Yeah, and honestly, like he wasn't a character who like made a lot of jokes or like
Yep.
seemed nice, or if anything, I always just thought he was getting ready to hook up with somebody else or cheat on his girlfriend with somebody. So, yeah, I don't know that we would have a lot of interests that linked up as far as what we were into.
Yep.
And he wasn't funny enough to be a friend. I would have hated the Billy character.
The Rob Lowe character. Yep.
Just crazy
Uh-huh.
all the time. And sweaty, so sweaty.
So you wouldn't have liked either one of those guys. What about
The other two were fine.
Emilio?
Emilio, it's hard. Emilio, first part of it, yeah, cool guy, works at a bar, seems nice.
Yep.
And then he turns crazy into a stalker.
Do you almost feel like you would be friends with him as long as you weren't the person he was obsessed with?
Yeah. As soon as he crossed that line, I would have to ghost him hard.
Yeah.
Or get a restraining order.
Now, you say that, but Rach has had a tendency to not always ghost very fast.
It's hard.
Sometimes I tell her, you got to start ghosting now. And then she keeps it going for like a couple of weeks too long. I'm like, I told you to ghost, bro. You got to trust me on this. I'm a ghosting professional.
It's
you got to ghost.
When you want to be like nice to people, and it's just, it's challenging. That line between that and wanting to be an adult and be like, hey, just cool it.
I think Emilio would have gotten to the cabin with you. And you would have had to tell him off at the cabin.
Oh, like he does in the movie
yeah,
where he
does
follows
in the
her
movie.
up to the ski lodge?
So you'd have a ton of these different moments that keep building. I think you would have just dealt with it until the cabin.
Honestly, horrifying.
Yeah.
Horrifying. That's
at least she was there with a guy.
Thank God.
Can you imagine if she was by herself?
Yeah, and he shows up all mad that she didn't come to his party.
That's so scary.
Who wrote that even at this time and thought that was charming?
I don't know. And then he kisses her, and then he's so happy, and like we're supposed to like root for him. Like he did it, he accomplished it, and she's kind of into it now. You can tell. She's like,
wow, what a kiss! That was so great. I'm gonna forget all of the crazy stuff you just did.
Yeah. No, I thought it was kind of.
Yeah.
This sounds crazy. I almost didn't forgive him more so than Rob Lowe.
Oh yeah.
I was like, Rob Lowe, you're just going through a lot of shit, and it's whenever you're drunk. Yep. But Emilio, what the heck happened to you?
Yeah. So I guess when I really searched my soul, it's probably just
McCarthy.
He's probably the only one.
Okay. Now, what about the girls?
Out of the gals, I would say I could see myself being friends with all three of the gals.
Yep.
Demi sometimes gets a little crazy, but sometimes it's fun to have a friend who's a little bit more wild and helps mix it up and keeps your life like spicy.
Sure.
But yeah, that's also hard too, having a friend that's not stable.
Sure.
I think she's not very stable either. So it's kind of a crapshoot. You take the bad with the good usually with friends that are that high and low.
Yep. What about the other two?
I think we'd be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. They honestly seemed very typical. Like nothing abnormal. What about you? Who do you think you would be friends with?
I think I'd be friends with. I could be friends with all of them.
All of them.
I do.
Everybody.
Rob Lowe would be a character. I'd make fun of him a lot.
He's married and he has a baby and he's hooking up with all of your friends and all the randoms at the bar.
Yep.
You think you can be friends with him?
I do, especially if we were friends in college and now we're still friends.
You keep getting him jobs and he keeps getting his ass fired.
Well, I wouldn't get him jobs. I'd be like the McCarthy guy who's just like friends with him and lets him crash at his place, but doesn't like invest in him that much.
I see.
Yep. Yeah. But I think I could be friends with every one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Even the Emilio character, like I'd be like, dude, you need to get over her. Like you got to move on, bro.
Cool
I'll be honest, you're getting weird.
Oh, good. I'm glad he would have somebody who could shake some sense into him. Everyone else seemed to be like cheering him on.
Emilio, too weird, bro.
Too weird. Too weird.
Do you think critics didn't like this movie because it was too real?
Aspects of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it doesn't really have, like, what's the big climax, would you say? Is it the breakup, or is it when Demi tries to slowly commit suicide in a cold room?
It's supposed to be Demi.
Yeah, and then that's the falling action is after we get that settled.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know.
I wondered if it was like, no, we're John Hughes 80s right now. Like, young people should be in these really fun movies. Revenge of the Nerds. They should be in, these
all they're silly. They have happy endings.
Yep.
There's a lesson.
For sure.
This is kind of just sad, a lot of it. But it's also very real because you think about that time in your life. It's a very, what I like about the movie is that it really hits on how hard of a time that can be.
Yep.
Especially for people whose identities are so wrapped up in who they were in college and the structure that you have in college and the direction and purpose you have, and then all of a sudden you're put out into the real world and you're like, I don't have any skills.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do my taxes.
Yep.
I might live on my own. I might live with my parents. I'm too young for this.
I got a
feel
credit
like
card for the
child.
first time. I don't know how to use it. Now I'm in financial trouble. Yeah, for sure.
You're like a little baby fawn getting your legs all over again. Like all of this confidence and like self-assuredness and direction that you get in college is just taken away. Which is why I never stopped going to college. I was like,
I keep
keep
going back to
me
school.
in until I figure it out because I'm afraid of getting a job and like adulting. It's scary. It's very scary, especially at 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrifying, exciting, which they also got that piece of it.
Yep.
But horrifying as well.
Yeah, 100%. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what did you think of the acting?
I think it was pretty good.
I did too.
Honestly, I don't have any qualms with that.
Nope. I don't think I would give anybody bad marks.
I wish Emilio's story wasn't so crazy.
Yeah.
He's probably, honestly, out of everybody, that one, and then if we could have fixed Demi's suicide attempt or whatever we want to call that, her breakdown.
Yep.
That could have been more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And Rob Lowe was such a schmuck. It's hard.
But he was
hard.
real.
I know, and we stayed
He's
friends
real.
with him, and maybe we shouldn't have sometimes.
Because he had that moment with Demi, because he cared about her enough to come and to like help her through her stuff. Mm-hmm. Because who's gonna understand each other the most? Mm-hmm. I had the sense those two understand each other in a way that nobody else in the group understands them. Mm-hmm. Like they have a connection that's not necessarily that romantic, but like they just have a deep understanding of who they are as humans.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and give it to us.
Oh, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Oh, it's midnight. Right on the button.
Whoa, perfect timing.
Get ready. All right, here we go. A motley crew of 80s icons. It's like a sad grown-up breakfast club where you're left wondering, this is going to get better, right? 47%.
47.
47%.
Strong rotten. What's it around?
It is above Double Dragon.
Boo! How dare you?
And below Bridget Jones' Diary.
What? Bridget Jones is terrible.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
okay. I have it at. You want to take a guess?
I think you have it higher than me.
98%.
No, you don't.
This is the highest rated film we've ever done.
You do
for
not.
Me. I believe it is a reflection of life.
It is perfect.
It is a reflection of my soul. So 98%.
It is not 98%.
This is higher than You've Got Mail and Moulin Rouge.
How dare you? How dare you speak ill of that?
But below Killer Clowns.
Well, that makes sense.
No, it's actually 64%.
Okay.
It's fresh. Mm-hmm. It's tied with Save the Last Dance. Mm-hmm. It's under Lethal Weapon and Die Hard and above P.S. I Love You.
Okay. Yeah. I understand why you would make it fresh. As we're talking about it, I'm like, it's not like it was bad. I didn't like really necessarily enjoy a lot of it, and I think a part of that is true to the time. Like you don't always enjoy stories that are reflecting that time in life because it's like it's kind of a sucky time.
Sure, and I commend it for that truth. I think that raises the score for me.
Sure,
that it's not. I raised the score because it's not always enjoyable. Because guess what? Life's not always enjoyable.
Yeah.
And your friendship groups aren't always enjoyable. Sometimes you get in fights. Sometimes you have stuff that happens with you.
That's true.
And I appreciated the mirror up to nature. Mm-hmm. So it gets a little higher score for me.
I like that. I appreciate you appreciating this movie.
Rachel Ann.
Yes, sir.
It's midnight. I can tell you are ready for bed. What movie are we going to go watch right now and pot at from 2 to 4 o'clock this morning? Because we got to do a double header.
We're going to keep the parties rolling. I think what would be fun to do next would be a trip to the Greek Isles.
Oh.
We are going to watch My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Never seen this movie. Mm-hmm. Everybody always talked about it at a certain time period of my life. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
Here we go. Okay, I can hear it now. It honestly sounded like ABBA to start.
Oh, I know. It does sound like ABBA / the Halloween 3 theme song.
Oh, yeah. Kind of at the cross section there.